Hi, can everybody hear? All right, okay. So I'm actually going to invite my fellow speakers and panelists on the podium now. And yeah, uh, Vijay, Anuj, you want to come? And I'll let everybody introduce themselves. I think that'll be more appropriate. We have Betjani also. Yes, Vitania. Yes. And I think Dr. Amani. Dr. Amani is there? Yeah, all right. Okay, super. So last session of the day is always difficult because everybody is in a hurry, and I know some of us on the panel as well as in this group have a flight to catch, so we got to take care of that part. We'll try and make it as energetic and engaging as possible. Yeah, why don't you? Yeah, yeah. Everybody seated. All right. So the topic for the day obviously is you know how is the leadership evolving in this and the rhythm of leadership evolving in this time and age of where we are today. And things are definitely with this digital transformation that is going on and with this COVID and post-COVID era that we went through, etc. Things have evolved quite significantly in that space for sure. So what I'm going to do is, we in order to make sure that we've got, contribution coming in from everybody, we've tried to make sure everybody's, and feel free to sort of share your inputs as we go along. But I'll ask pointed questions based on what I know of about each of you, the kind of understanding that I have in the business setup that you are in. So to start with, a quick introduction from my side. My name is Alok Chog. I've been in the region for past 32 years, worked with the Big Four for about 27 years, and started my own journey as Helios Consulting 5 years ago. We've had the privilege of working with some very large multinationals across these years, plus some startups, a number of people I can see we here who's looking to set up operations here. We work very actively with people like yourselves. So through this discussion, obviously, I think we're going to come up with, the leadership and the vision and, and draw out those parallels as we come across. So maybe starting with you, Anuj, if you can briefly introduce yourself and then everybody else.
Thanks, Alok. Good evening, everyone. I'm working as a Chief Operations Officer with a company called India Mortgage Guarantee Corporation. We enable home ownership in India for underbanked and unbanked consumers. I have over two decades of experience in transforming the processes, risk underwriting, operations, digitization, automation, and I feel that I would be able to add a lot to it because I have seen leadership change. I mean, getting change. There's a change paradigm shift in the leadership change. I mean, how do you lead the the people? So I would love to share my experiences over that, and thank you to my all fellow panelists. Thank you.
Dr. Mani, yourself?
Yes, my experience is in an educational sector. It still is a kind of business that leadership is going from bottom to top to bottom, and it has to be always up to date. So as an educator and as a leader for more than 20 years, served on the Middle East and the North America. That was a massive experience of facing lots of changes, starting from COVID, before and after, different kind of fast and rapid changes. So with my qualification as a Master in Leadership Education and PhD in Business Administration, Strategic Planning. So I could share a lot of experience that we faced in this sector.
Thank you. Yeah, looking forward to hearing from you. Yeah, Vijay.
Thanks, Alok. Good evening, everyone. My name is Vijay Jayaraj. I work with a company called WorkTalk. It's a young, new startup which is based out of India. But before this, I've been an entrepreneur now for close to 18 years. And prior to that, true blue corporate citizen. I used to work in Dubai a long time back in the 2000s. And I worked with Jet Airways, I worked with MasterCard. Then I started a company back in 2008 and started and ran it as the founder and CEO for 10 years, scaled out nicely and eventually got acquired. And now running my second venture, which is called WorkTalk. WorkTalk essentially is a private communication platform focused on corporate privacy. It's not social, but it's corporate. It's a B2B tech product. Very, very early days in its journey, but from the look of it, from the first phase of our product launch, it's taken off like a rocket ship. Looks like companies really was waiting for this product because it helps organizations regain data privacy, regain data sovereignty. One of a kind product. And through this journey of being a corporate citizen as well as an entrepreneur, I've seen the transforming years when how leadership changed while I was looking up at the leadership, and then how leadership changed while I was leading an organization. It's been an interesting experience of over close to 25 years. I hope to share experiences from my journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yanni.
Hello, good evening. My name is Betania Yashini. I'm CEO for IBC, International Business Corporation. We facilitate the business between companies across border, cultures, and industries. We have three main cores. First one is artificial intelligence. We have solutions implemented in different kind of fields like oil and gas, real estate, agriculture, education, medical sector, energy. We implement our solutions in Chile, in Brazil, in Boston, and now we're moving to Saudi Arabia. The second core that we have is electromobility. I started working in this field in 2009, working for Spain projects, and then I moved to Lisbon to work in the Lisbon Institute of Engineering. Then I became consulting and advisor for the national government in Argentina. And nowadays, we are consulting for the World Bank, and we represent the Institute of Transportation of Argentina. We not only provide analysis and studies, but also the technology that is involved. And the third core is international trade. I represent the Association of Electrical Regulatory Entities of Argentina. All of them, I cross them by shipping and logistics.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for the introduction. And I think, so as you can see now, we've got quite a versatile group over here, and that is what makes it very interesting for the conversation perspective. So we've got a financial professional, banking professional, we've got an educationist, we've got an entrepreneur in the digital world, and then Rajani now with your works, years of experience across Lisbon, Chindal, etc. So if I were to ask you one specific question, and maybe to interlink the both the points, how have you seen from your work perspective or in your areas of specialty, the work has evolved and the work culture has evolved, and what does it mean for leadership from your perspective? How have you seen leadership changes in that perspective? Go in any order, please. However you want to start. Vijay, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think, like all of us know, it's been a transformative window, right? I think from the time that I started working to how the corporate world, the business world works, I think I look at it on three pillars. One is space, which has changed substantially during the last 20 years, last 15 years. And the pace of change is also accelerating, right? So one is space. The other key difference that I see is space or location. That is also substantially changing. In some way, COVID accelerated that change. COVID sort of brought into the world a whole new way of working with a location agnostic perspective. And the last is the culture. And I think culture has perhaps both the first two legs impact how the cultures changed over this period of time. And all of these three are driven, the change is driven largely with technology. That's a field that I work. I would like to believe that technology plays a key role in all of these changes. When it comes to pace, as all of us know, from the times when we all started working, when things moved from today's perspective, At that time, things moved at a glacial pace, slowly and steadily. Approvals or processes were set much, much slower to today's world where everything is instant, including communication. If you actually pause to think about it, this very panel that we are here, and the amount of communication that has happened between us, where Alok's put in a lot of effort to bring us all together, while there was some amount of email communication, a substantial part of the communication happened on WhatsApp, which is an instant communication platform. And often enough, people expect response instantly. Employees are, expecting approvals instantly. So that change of pace has decisively impacted how we as professionals and how organizations perform in the business world. That's pace. Secondly, in terms of location, as we all know, we all, lived in a world where we got up in the morning and went to office. And that's not a thing today for youngsters, right? I mean, we all talk about Gen Z a lot and how you manage Gen Z in the corporate world. But one big change that I see is how the youngsters, or even the older folks who have adjusted to the new ways of working, how they find location absolutely non-relevant. You get up in the morning and work from home. Some people these days, they don't say work from home, they say work from anywhere. They're working in some company, but they're living in Goa. You could be living in Ibiza, but as long as you log into your system and complete your work, can be done well or not well. But location is no more an important factor to consider. And also from a hiring perspective, often enough, it's not. There are folks who say that if it's a in-person coming to office role, I don't want that. And I'm a very good technologist, but I don't want that.
I want to continue from that point. It is easy to see people work from home sometimes, but is it easy to see SKJK study from home? Like, this is what we really face at that time, the COVID and the change from pre and post COVID. We can imagine teacher teaching from home nowadays after training, but grade 1, 2 studying from home, there is a big challenge. It is a big challenge. So pre and post COVID was really different for educational sector, where students in school have to adopt a new plan. Before that, teachers used to be all in one room, preparing together, have a lesson plan together. Now everybody is in a different area, different place, different country maybe, and they are teaching the same classroom. So that was a big challenge that education sector faced. So we have to come totally with new planning. We have to invent. It is not only change, it is inventing. So we have to invent. Yes, there was online teaching before. It's not something new to the world, but a whole school system to shift every single student sitting home, like 30 students in one classroom online in front of one teachers or maybe two. That is a big challenge with new system, with a new planning, new strategic plan. You have to start from scratch at that time. That wasn't an easy task to go through. It was a big change.
Absolutely, and that's where the edtech space has really flourished in the last few years, because and it's no longer just the learning platforms that we provide, but it's much more than that. I think
And that's why leadership has also to face different challenges. So if we talk about leadership now, we have to start adopting new styles to be
Absolutely.
able to control, to be able to lead those kind of settings.
Sure. I understand you want to add something. Yeah, please.
Yes. I also believe that, yes, the rhythm of the work changed. And yesterday I had the honor to receive one award. And my first award was when I was 21 years old. In the university, I was gold medal. The second award was given by the Association of Engineering of Argentina. My third award was given by the Association of Materials of Argentina. And it happens almost 20 years. And I was thinking how this changed. And yes, as you mentioned, Amani, there's no more office work in office hours. Now everything is through platforms. and different time zones, and a volatile market, emerging technologies, and this globalization force us to change the pace of decision making. Now everything is fast. And in order to be fast, we need to delegate. We need to build teams that work independently, that we need to be agile, flexible, and we need to adapt to different environments. Sometimes we take decisions on environments that we don't have the complete information, but we need to be fast in order not to lose the opportunities. But about leadership, I believe that there is one point that still cannot be replaced, that is the meeting face to face with your team. Shake hands or just the visit and the presence really make results and change the results of the business.
Sure. Thank
Okay,
you.
so I would like to add only 2 points
Please.
which I feel are very, very important from the leadership perspective. One is the essence of leadership will always be human. Okay, so the 2 points are technology is a friend, is a teammate now, it's no more a tool. The second is what is very, very important for me as a leader and for I think as leaders are that we should be very, very focused about emotional intelligence and try to give psychological safety to our teammates.
Great. No, thank you. Thank you. I think, and you almost brought it to the next question that I had in mind. And what kind of qualities, aside from human touch and the emotional intelligence that we're talking about, what other qualities would you actually see? Has the leadership actually changed in the organizations? Have they evolved also over this period of time and started recognizing that?
Yeah, hello. I think along the same lines of what everyone here said, what I am most curious about, I have my thought to share, but I would also like to hear from everyone, is how all of these changes, how those changes are impacting the culture of an organization. And in my last venture, on our town hall wall, we had this line written. We used to have it written there saying, "Culture eats strategy for breakfast every morning." Literally, I so deeply believe in it. You can have the grandest of strategy and the best of technology, but if you don't get the organizational culture right, if you don't get your work culture right, none of the other legs will help organization thrive. So in that context, with all of these changes that's going on, how do we still keep the culture of the organization intact? And for me, I've been an entrepreneur, I'm a startup guy, and as you all know, for startups, culture is everything. Because startup is a contact sport. Now we come to office every day and we move heaven and earth. So in a context like that, how important is culture, and how do you get culture right when you're location agnostic, when people are logging in from different places, you can't shake hands in the morning like you said. So how do you get culture right? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Maybe I share a little bit of a perspective because I've seen both the worlds. I've lived corporate life for 27 years, and now I'm living my own journey. So obviously, in a corporate world, the whole culture is driven from the top. The leadership and the constant messaging and the constant communication and the mentorship, etc., that happens with the people, and that those were the efforts that were being made by the HRs time and again, engaging people or smaller teams from time to time to sort of let them bond with each other better, and then also separate sessions with the CEOs, etc., and the C-suites to let the people understand the vision of the organization as such, and how everybody could embed that vision and live the same culture and the values that you want want the organization to have. Obviously, it has changed quite significantly since the time we're no longer 10,000 people, but we're now 25 people, for example, and so the interaction is a lot more agile. The interaction is a lot more in much more smaller groups through WhatsApp and through other sort of communication channels that have been there. The bonding it's easier because you're able to sort of have off-site events every now and then and things like that, and then it sort of changes. So obviously, uh, uh, the the circumstances or the environments are different, but challenges obviously continue to remain, because you still want, as a leader or as an owner of the organization, I still want my people around me to live the same vision and work with the same kind of ethics and culture that we embed. Yeah, feel free to add.
From my point of view, I would like to mention 3 skills and qualities that leadership need to develop to survive in this new rhythm of work. And first, we need to understand that work is not a straight line. Now, work is like moving in waves, and leaders need to, they feel that they need to navigate in these different rhythms and rapid changes. So we have the digital transformation, and most here, especially in UAE, digital transformation every 6 months. We have hybrid teams with different time zones. We have cross-border partnerships, and nowadays, before the rhythm of the work used to be predictable, but now it's like a dynamic orchestra. We have everything is faster, multi-layered, and deeply interconnected. So nowadays, the leaders need to learn how to conduct. The second one is that we need to especially transform and shift from controlling the work to enable people. I work with many countries. I work with Argentina, Chile, Brazil. I work with Middle East. I work with China, Vietnam, Indonesia, and believe me, the leaders who succeed are the ones who build the trust. I moved in 2017 to China, and I learned this, one Chinese that is my best friend now, about build the relationship, build the friendships first.
Yeah, that's a great point.
For example, we are now doing a project in Zambia for 500 megawatts in solar farms, and we have our team, Chile, China, Europeans, and locals from the mining companies, and the productivity dropped. So what I was thinking, what we should do, like leaders, we need to fast make a pivotal change, right? We need to shift from trying to control every step, and it's better to empower and make micro teams. And really give me, after 3 months, 40%, I increase my delivery times, I double the communication between the team. So I believe that the leaders need to learn that speed depends on the trust, not in control. And the third one is very interesting, is one of my favorite because I spend a lot of time in this one. Nowadays, the collaboration doesn't happen accidentally. You need to develop something that we call cross-culture, as you mentioned, cross-culture intelligence. So we need to know who is in front of us, how he made the business, how he communicate the disagreement, how he build the relationships. And I can give you a lot of examples, but the one I can mention that, for example, we have our client here in UAE, manufacturer group, making collaboration with Chinese robotics industries. And the Chinese, they like a long-term and consensus and details. And Emiratis, they want a rapid implementation. So IBC try to, you find meetings very slow, meetings very fast. So the only way to work together and to both of them feel not compromise their style is to create small prototypes with the structure of review cycles. So we need to learn how to conduct different cultures rhythm and not forcing anyone to one bit.
Yeah, please go ahead.
To emphasize of what my friend said, what we call in leadership, it's transformational leadership style. This is how to inspire team. So this is my style. This is how I lead my team. Transformational leadership style is to inspire. Now, instructions everywhere. They can read it. They can understand it. You need to inspire them. You need to empower them by inspiring them, by motivating them. They need to be motivated. They need to work for a purpose. They need to know that there is a reason, there is a goal. I'm doing this because I want to achieve that, and this is something will benefit others, will benefit me. So they have to be inspired and motivated. This is one of the things that will let your team work with sincerity. And at the same time, you have to follow up. You can set rules, you can do everything, you can inspire. If you did not follow up with them in a positive attitude, with a positive and create that positive atmosphere, you will not find the result. Every single member at the team, you need to follow up with them in a way. Some people, yes, trust is there. We trust, we build that trust. But at the same time, even with trust, you need to give feedback. You need to give clear feedback, because this Gen Z, even Gen X now, the millennial, all of them need clarity. Clarity is very important for them. They need to understand where they are standing and where they are going. But all this has to be with empowering. It's not easy anymore. We have to adapt lots of different styles too. Like we have to be a digital confidence. Yes, I don't have to be a Microsoft engineer or an IT to deal with my team, but at least I have to have comfortable dealing with digitals nowadays, and with the computer, how to meet with them, how to create a meeting, and how to send emails in a professional way. All those are very important and factors and elements for a leadership style to be successful.
Okay, so the kind of processes I have managed, I was very used to be on the floor solving problems real time. And when this shift happened, especially after COVID, and it kind of force multiplied the shift. Apart from my fellow panelists have mentioned trust and empowerment, I think another important factor is autonomy. People are used to autonomy. If you give them that, we trust with your decisions, we have confidence in you, especially the younger generations, because 70% of my team is Gen Z now. So they need the power to do something on their own, but with full confidence and within the timeline. So I personally developed that, giving that autonomy to them with a lot of trust and communication. That's the added learnings I have taken over the years now.
Thank you. And I think you made a very important point, because that's where I think, the organizations are, spending a fair bit of time in that, and leadership is spending a fair bit of time in terms of not only ensuring that their leaders are, tech savvy and are able to sort of emotionally connect and all of that, but how they can actually relate better to the Gen Z and the younger generation that they are employing now, because that's and are they being upskilled? Are they being trained from an emotional and perspective to make sure that they are sort of ultimately living the values that you want them to live. But I think if I may come back on the point about technology and digital again, Vijay, and maybe Anuj, to you also, since you are from that space. Have organizations made use of this technology particularly, and any particular items that you like to highlight or areas that you like to highlight to develop the technology and to develop the leadership styles for the organization?
I think, Alok, there is no question whether an organization can do without technology. Absolutely no. You need to embrace technology. Like Anuj said, technology is a friend. It's a teammate now. But from a leadership perspective, the changes that we've been seeing during this window, what I feel is, while there are employees and there's changing dynamics because of the pace, because of the technology, because of the location agnostic work style, while all of that's there, a few things that cannot be replaced by anything that's coming in, which is the key responsibility of the leadership now, because no one else can. Someone else said it, but I'm saying it differently, is the vision. And no matter however much speed and pace and all of that comes in, setting the organizational vision long term, that I think perhaps still takes some years and some gray hair for it to fall in place. And secondly, what I'd like to call is emotional maturity. It is not emotional intelligence. It's not regular EQ where you know how to shake hands or connect with the other person. But emotional maturity is something which comes only over a period of time, when maybe perhaps after you've gotten a few punches in your stomach and you grow older, and then you know that ups and downs are part of this journey, and that is something which leadership will necessarily need to bring to the table. When you have a bunch of young guys working at a fast pace, there will be highs and lows, there will be hits and misses. But it is the leadership's job to recoup everyone, celebrate when you have to, pick the team up when you have to. That emotional maturity, that's leadership's responsibility. That hasn't changed over a period of time. Combining emotional maturity with being able to manage the Gen Z or manage the team to set the vision for the organization, I think that's largely what the leadership's role is today, because rest everything our Gen Zs and the chat GPT can together do. There is nothing that they can't do. But I don't think GPT can set the vision for the organization. Neither can GPT provide emotional maturity over a period of time.
Sure. No, thank you.
So,
Anuj?
personally, I have seen many changes in terms of how I have evolved over the time. I'll share an example with that. Uh, Technology has completely rewritten the script. There are process changes. Automation can handle your repetitive tasks. AI can amplify the judgment, and distribution can take care of your workflows. Now, what helped me, all these things helped me as a leader, is that I have started thinking more about my team on a human side. Maybe I was solving the problems on the floor, maybe I was too involved in the meetings, war rooms, everything, but now I have little more time to evolve as a human being and as a leader, and think about more about as a human touch. So I think technology, with all the automation we talk about, it has brought in the human touch as the center stage.
Oh, thank you. And I think maybe I can share an example or two on that also, because see, in my previous life, with the organization that I was working, we actually had a integration or a global merger or interact with at the global level, and we had people coming from all walks of life, and from Europe, which was integrating to the Middle East. Now, Middle East is, although we call it Middle East, but then culturally very different. Whether you're dealing with Iraqis or Saudis or Omanis or Kuwaitis, etc., you deal with them very, very differently. So, and then you talk about the Asian side. You talk about Japanese or Chinese, etc. Very, very different cultures, etc. When you're integrating or talking to them also. So, no team or even the leaders also would behave or react in the same very fashion if you expect them to really connect and bond and support you. So obviously there was a lot of effort being put together where we were all sort of invited in smaller groups and trained and sort of almost trained, actually trained is the right word, because about how would you actually interact with the Chinese or a Japanese or an Omani or a Qatari, etc. Then and then be able to sort of really have a business talk about the numbers and see so that expectations are set right. And I think that played an important role. I think that brings me to the last question that I had for all of you, and where do we go from here now? So how do you see leaders evolving? And then if we can give a perspective over a period of next couple of years, etc., and see how things will evolve, and then where do we go? And education, I'm not reaching to say something because I think you're probably bringing it out at the at the core.
The most important thing for any leader, updating yourself and keep your professional development. Professional development as a leader, it's very important. Do not stop. Leadership and leading, it is a long life journey, and it's continuous learning. And you will be leader now by nature. You're gonna deal with it in your family, your school, your work sector, whatever it is it. But very important as a leader to keep yourself updated with the most important styles right now, what generation you're dealing with. Now we are dealing with Gen Z, and then we're going to be raising Gen Alpha, and then Gen B's beta is in the way. So it is very important to keep updated. I finished my PhD, and then the next 2 years I start another courses, and I start taking extra qualifications and advanced qualification just to be on a track, just to be on track. And very important to start with people to understand that they are the one that will create, they will be the productive people, and not the process. They are first, and then the process will come. So productivity need instructions and need structures, and creativity need freedom and following.
Maybe if I can bit more on that. I mean, as an educationist, I'm very curious to know: is there a proper? Is there a curriculum that is being developed around leadership and how to build leaders of the future?
Of course, I mean, as a leader, there is always, it's in universities. For example, in education in Canada, I have my qualification as a principal, qualified as a North American and Canadian principal. So you can, every year there is something new. You can update yourself with extra courses. We call them extra qualifications. So whatever is your qualification from, you can always contact your university or look online and find different kind of courses or extra qualifications. They are available to update leaders, but we have to look for them. We have to look, and we have to find them.
Thank you. Bethany, yeah,
Yes.
you want to say something?
Yes, from my point of view, the future of the work is not to be a top talent, it's to work together, create together, decide together, and it's something that I call collective intelligence. And when the leader unlocked this collective intelligence, the collaborations became a very competitive advantage. So I think that not, as I said before, be a conduct, not a controller, be a cultural bridge, not barriers, and create communities. The future of the collaboration is not to work hard, it's to work smart and to work together across borders and cultures. So I think that the leader need to, as Amani says, need to build these empowered people, these environments that they feel inspired to collaborate. And for many years, I believe that knowledge is power. And no, it is only a potential. Apply this knowledge is power. And to know why and when, this calls wisdom. So I suggest to the next leaders how to survive in this rhythm so fast that we live nowadays is to, as Dr. Amani says, keep on learning, keep on being curiosity, keep on studying, and this is the most important thing. So don't try to spell learn without earn.
Thank you. No, wonderful comment, Vijay. Anuj, you want to say something?
Yeah, so I just want to highlight one last comment from my side as a closing remark that leaders, what kind of leaders will shine most now is leaders, not the leaders who control most, but the leaders who will enable more.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And I might bring one more point after. We'll come back to you. That,
About leadership and the future, Alok, I'm going to take a segue and talk about something more specific. We all know about Gen AI and how that's changing the world. I'm a big believer of Gen AI, and maybe it's not fire or wheel, but it's something close to that. Right? It's pretty big, and it's going to change the world. One of the challenges that I find as leaders we all should be mindful of is, for every organization, communication is critical, right? Organizations work on communication. Now, what has happened in the recent past, in the last few years, communication has changed from a slow-paced, face-to-face to everything has become instant. That has already happened. And there are a few global gigantic platforms that facilitate this. In today's world, if you think about your own life, uh, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, or WhatsApp, some of I can count 4 or 5 platforms, and I can bet that nobody in this room will be able to say that it doesn't touch my life. We can't live without that. It's instant communication. Now the challenge posed by Gen AI, to circle it back, is that in the previous pre-Gen AI world, when let me not take any name, whether it is Google or Microsoft or Meta or whatever, any large organization which has access to billions of people's communication data, one could think, what will they do with it anyway? There is so much data, they can't do much with it. But not today. With Gen AI having come in, if you have a billion people's conversation, you can put that through a model and generate crazy amount of information, crazy amount of intelligence. That makes corporate privacy very relevant in the post-Gen AI world. In the post-Gen AI world, we all better be aware of how much of information is going into models that we do not control. And we better start figuring out how we are going to safeguard our organization's corporate privacy, organization's IP, organization's secrets, organization's internal cultural secrets. How are we going to guard it when all of that is going into servers, and now servers with capability to run it through a model and really sift out intelligence? It's a bit of a scary world, and really there are 5 platforms that facilitate global communication today. So we're going to have to figure out one way or the other to solve this.
I know we have few minutes, and I want to leave a few questions for the floor as well. But one last thought that came to my mind now. I mean, we are obviously as leaders also, and if I put myself in that shoes, or the biggest challenge we all face with this digital transformation and Gen Z and all of that coming in is we are dealing with situations where productivity is of essence, because you want to improve productivity, you want to really encourage that, and that's what we as entrepreneurs are also after, or most entrepreneurs are after. But then there is creativity also, and how to encourage and balance the two in an environment when we have from a leadership perspective.
You have to figure out how to figure your privacy. We don't have a platform, we don't have a global platform, and organizations will, and I think that will happen in the next few years. Organizations are going to have to figure out a way to safeguard their corporate privacy. It's a question that you're asking, but that's not a question that's got solved. That question is there in front of our eyes now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But I believe, like, as an educator and a leadership at the same time, productivity always needs a goal, expectations, and you need to meet your expectations to be a productive team and to have your results at the end and achieve it. You need to have expectation, goal, and to reach that goal. Creativity need freedom. Think out of the box. Give them a different kind of problem-solving issues, and give them empowering them. To have a really creative team, you need to empower them. You need to trust them. You need to give them support to be creative.
Sure. Well, thank you. Tanya, you want to say something? Yeah.
I would like to add that yes, it's more competitive, but we increase the productivity with all these technologies, and yes, we need intention, vision to survive, and this is the most important set. Always the collective intelligence. You need more innovation, long-term performance, and the most important one is you have more and you improve your problem solving. So,
I mean, I think one of the challenges, and maybe when I posed that question, I was speaking from my personal experience, because we people known as consultants, we charge by the hours. You expect your team to be charging hours, clocking hours, and billable hours, etc. Right? But then there's an element of creativity that is sometimes ignored or is not necessarily flourished in that. And we as leaders obviously constantly have that dilemma, or how do we make sure that you balance it in the right way and make that? Anuj, I don't know if you're in good shape now to add something, but yeah, any last words or thoughts from any of you? Otherwise, we'll try and wind up and open the floor for questions if there are.
I have a contrarian view. I think creativity is also got commoditized now. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this thing called Move 37. Are you familiar with it?
No, I've not.
Move 37 is when Google first made a Gen AI model and it started to play a game, Go, Chinese game. And of course, the model learned everything that the human beings had played and it was making the moves. In one of the games, the model won 1-4 against the world champion. But in the game 3, it made a move called Move 37. And all the observers and everybody were puzzled, saying that, oh, this is a wrong move. But eventually the model won that game, and that it won that game based on Move 37. The interesting part about Move 37 was it was a move that human beings had never made before. So it was for the first time that a model genuinely created new intelligence that did not exist in human consciousness. Humans did not know, observers did not know, and eventually so Move 37 is as creative as it can get. So in that world, creativity is checked. These models can do that.
Yeah. And that's where we are headed actually, yeah. So we okay, so thank you very much, my fellow panelists. Thank you very much for very engaging discussion and bringing out your experiences and for everyone to hear. Any questions from the floor? Anybody? Yeah. All right.
It's a very interesting questions, and this is where you really develop this skill of cross culture intelligence. When people talk about different cultures, and especially when you talk about Asia, they think that the way you take the hands, the way you sit, the way it's good. The way you open new subjects in the meetings, the way you close the deals. I think this is, and it's not this, it's in the operation and in the real life, it's really deeply, it's not only this. And I would like to mention some examples because this is a big challenge to work with Argentina and China. We're talking about two different economic situations, political situations, and social situations.
To answer your question directly, it's looking for universal values. You look for universal values, universal characters, and what is universal of values that it has to be applied in every culture. So respectful, honesty, all those values are everywhere. So as a leader, you use them to unite all these different ethnic groups that you're working with together. Using those universal values is very important. As a leader, you need to know them. You need to know that, okay, they are known, but I mean, applying them and take the soul, take the spirit of every culture and make it familiar to your team. You have to knowledge. You have to equip yourself and educate yourself about different ethnic group that you have in your team, and you understand them. Then in this situation, be sure they will know that, yes, I belong here. Yeah, he knows about my culture. So as a leader, you need to educate yourself about your team first, about the different ethnic group that you have, and applying universal values at that team. adaptation and adaptive is very important. Adaptation style is very important for leaders to master that kind of style as a leaders.
So
Great.
if-
No, thank you very much.
Sorry.
no,
In my case, I want to just mention one case, one example that I faced that is always with between Argentinians and China or Latin Americans and China is the technical sheets, data sheets. And for example, there is a company called Metropol, is one of the biggest private bus companies in Argentina, and they need they receive from us our analysis and to migrate the fleets to electric. They receive our alter study because you need to teach the drivers maintenance, and the study showed that the strategy is to buy and to get electric bus, but at the end Metropol decided to go for natural gas. And the barrier that I found here is that the authority, the city, the national authority and the government from Buenos Aires, they decide to change the system for subsides. So at the end, it was more convenient to go to natural gas. And here you face two things very important that you have to teach and to how you explain this to the Chinese, right? And it's like about technical things is that our gas in our country is not the same as other parts of the world. So Chinese need to change the motors to adapt to our natural gas. And the second one that is unbelievable for Argentinians is the delivery time. For 150 buses, they thought it's going to take a lot of time. And in 16 days, the buses were in the port ready to deliver. So this international harmony that we need to create is a big challenge.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I think that was a good note to end on. And once again, thank you very much, everybody. And thank you all for very patiently listening to us and to this engaging conversation. Thank you.